I've been waiting for the Samsung Galaxy Buds Pro to review them, but in the search for them on Amazon, I recently came across the Samsung Galaxy Buds Live instead. These have active noise cancelling, a very different design than what we are used to seeing, and a surprisingly comfortable fit. So are these the best earbuds so far? Let's go ahead and dive right in. Before we continue, I just want to remind you that we have a Twitch channel where we stream every Friday and Saturday from 8 p.m. and to 10 p.m. Eastern Time, so why not go ahead and drop a follow? And also don't forget to follow us on Twitter and Instagram, and also make sure to check out the merch store. There's plenty of black and white sweetness to choose from up there, so go ahead and check that out. And then make sure to take a look at the podcast as well, as the podcast always goes live every Wednesday and Sunday. And with that said, enough rambling, let us get straight into the video. So let's go ahead and begin with an unboxing, which is actually pretty simple here. It comes in this really tiny box, which once opened, you will also find the case with the Galaxy Buds inside. Then put that aside to take a look at the USB-C cable for charging and some replacement ear things. I don't think they're actual ear tips. However, the exterior design of these buds is quite unique and really nice. I'm really glad that I went with this red, which is actually very out of character for me, but it is very nice nonetheless. The buds do feel very solid, and the glossy red looks beautiful for every angle for sure. However, the way these fit is really strange, and I will get into that pretty soon. But so far, I do visually love the design here, and another great design feature here has to do with the case itself. It's matte aluminum that looks incredible in its deep red, and honestly, it is just a really great color for these earbuds. The case is magnetic and one of my favorites out there. You'll also find a USB-C port for charging, and the case does indeed support wireless charging, so hey, why not go ahead and just go nuts, right? Now let's go ahead and talk about the gestures and controls. You've actually got some gesture touch controls here, but I don't like how they're implemented here because the shape of the earbuds, gestures are a little annoying for me to actually execute. Things like tapping for 1 second to play and pause, double tap to go to the next song, triple tap for the previous song, touch and hold for your assistant, etc. Things like this are just pretty uncomfortable and annoying to manage when you've got such an uneven surface all across the entirety of these buds. It's not a fun time for me. There are sadly no volume controls here either, but you do have things like active noise cancelling, which we will be testing very soon in this review. However, beyond this, Samsung has an EQ built onto the Samsung Wearable app, which is actually quite nice to have. It's only presets, but you still get other presets, like 6 of them I mean, to choose from, so I really can't complain here all that much. You do get things like bass boost and things of the like if you really want that. It's just really nice to have some options here, and I really like that. Even if you can't get quite as precise with it, it is still nice that they included it at all. Now let's go ahead and talk about the comfort of these. They do look like they're supposed to be pretty comfortable because they don't go inside of your ears, but they just sit on your ear instead. But I don't find these very comfortable. The left ear actually bothers me the most out of the two, and that is honestly a pretty annoying disappointment considering that the left hook is just constantly poking the back of my ear, and it's really annoying. They won't fall off very easily for me, but I don't like wearing them for a long time. They're also difficult to adjust without triggering a gesture of any kind, which is really annoying, so I'd say that they missed it here for me. Now let's go ahead and talk about the actual sound quality. These sound pretty good, and I'm only talking about the default sound setting for these, as these do actually have an EQ, so you can go ahead and adjust these based on what sound profiles you want, but default is just the one that people are most likely to use, and it does sound pretty good for basically all genres. Just considering what kinds of earbuds these are, they don't have much audio separation of course, but that is to be expected, though these actually do perform pretty well in things like rock, and I mean Avril Lavigne of course, if you consider that rock at all. But with things like black metal, death metal, they also do quite well. I actually find that they don't perform quite as well with pop and hip hop, orchestras, etc. I found that to be super interesting because this is literally never the case with earbuds like this. So needless to say, I actually like these quite a bit for listening to my metal. It's not like you get audio separation or clarity, at least not to a great degree. These just seem to be EQ'd in such a way that they bring out the good in genres like it, more so than they do for genres like pop or hip hop, which is usually what earbuds like this would be tuned to, which I definitely prefer. Now, when it comes to noise cancelling, I have mixed feelings here. It's good in the sense that it does a good job overall at keeping sound out, but this is one of those instances where it just feels like it makes music sound louder to block out music. It doesn't feel like it's really doing much here, and it feels like a gimmick at most. It just doesn't make much of a difference here, and it's a feature that could have been very well omitted, and I wouldn't have cared all so much if I knew that it was going to be like this, to be frank. I think that it is kind of a necessary feature, just considering that it doesn't really do much. All that it mostly does is just muffle sound a little bit when you're not playing music, but that's about it. You can still hear everything relatively clearly. Now, battery life is also an interesting affair here, but it is one that they really nailed here. You actually do get between 8 to 9 hours of battery life on a single charge and up to 29 hours in total with the charging case. This is impressive. This pair will last you an entire day and much longer. This is the split that I was hoping for when I reviewed the Galaxy Buds Plus for example. I did get a lot of flack for that one because I was not a fan of the split. Even though we're talking about 11-hour battery life, you're still talking about a 22-hour experience in total. It is still pretty low. In this case, it's 29 hours, so that's really good. It'll last you all day. So let's get straight into the complaints. I don't think that these are very comfortable. I don't like this form factor, and it makes gestures pretty frustrating and annoying to execute overall. I haven't gotten used to its selected readings of my finger when I try to trigger any gestures, but it will certainly react if I try just adjusting the earbud, for instance, which is really annoying. I hate that aspect of these, to be completely honest. But speaking of which, I also wish that these had volume controls for gestures, but I guess that they would be pretty difficult and annoying to execute anyway, so it probably doesn't even matter. Noise cancelling does feel like a wasted feature, or at least like wasted potential on these, as it just behaves as a volume boost really when music is playing, and it slightly muffles everything else, but that's a very subtle change and it could use a lot more work, to be frank. Samsung, hopefully the Pro models will fix that issue. So that's essentially been my verdict. I think that these earbuds are pretty great in terms of how beautiful they look, the features, the build quality, the battery life, and certainly the sound. However, I find these to be uncomfortable to wear for just even 1 hour, and noise cancelling, which is a feature that they tout here quite a bit, is a dud, as it barely does anything at all in my opinion. I can recommend these, but try them out. See if they actually fit you well, because these have a very interesting form factor, and I do not think that they will fit everybody. I mean, for me, I found these quite uncomfortable, to be frank, but I think that you need to try them out before deciding if you really want this pair. For myself, I won't be keeping these for much longer because of that same comfort issue. If I can't wear these for a long time, then there's no point of me keeping them for a long time to come. If you're quite the opposite, and if these actually feel relatively comfortable to you, then I think you're going to have a total blast with these because they sound great and they just have a lot of good things going for them, even if some of the important stuff they don't nail all that well for me. So maybe I'm not the person for these, but you might be. So yeah. And now, if you are interested in purchasing these earbuds, then I'll be making sure to leave affiliate links down to Amazon in the description. And if you end up using any of my links, I do get a small commission that does support the channel quite a bit. There's also Luster, in case you need some help looking for any kind of discounts. Luster is going to find these discounts for you if there are any available. And it's also going to show you which ones people would rather buy over these, like in kind of like a hierarchical list, which is actually pretty useful. So I do recommend that you get your hands on Luster. Links to that down below. And if you would rather finance these, like in case you don't want to pay for these outright, you do have ABUNDA. I'm going to be leaving an ABUNDA link down in the description, but basically it lets you finance these without the use of a credit card at all. It's just very simple financing with not many strings attached, or any at all really. So yeah, links to that down below. And also do make sure to subscribe, because we do have the Tech Summit podcast. It does go up twice a week, and I like to stream on Twitch every Friday and Saturday from 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Eastern time. Go ahead and join the Discord. I'd love to hear from you over there, and follow me on the rest of my social media like my Instagram and my Twitter. But with that said, this has been Francisco from Tech Summit. Thank you so much for watching, and I will be seeing you all later. Enjoy.